Hi there, I'm Mr. Wargaming, and I'm pretending to be surprised to find my camera set up and filming here in my wonderful workstation. Today is December 26th. This is Biscotti, and I want to wish all of my Canadian friends a happy Boxing Day. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank those of you that have come along here in the year of our Lord 2024 and subscribed to the channel. We had a really solid year. Unfortunately, I've gotten a lot busier than I was in previous years, and I have had to scale back my production from 3 videos a week to 2. Hopefully, 2025, we can resume that 3 times a week, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. As I record this, we are sitting somewhere around 6,200 subscribers, which is astonishing. I can't tell you how grateful I am to all of you for coming along for the ride and participating, commenting, and doing all of the things, particularly those of you in the clandestine ops. You know who you are. Much obliged. It was a time of balm at a time when I needed it most. For those of you that don't know what that is, just keep listening. You can ask around the internet, the digital water cooler. Maybe they'll tell you. In the meantime, just have a cup of coffee and, relax. Maybe you can figure it out from that. I don't push it very hard because I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the camaraderie. I'm also here to kind of remind people that it's okay to play these games. These are not the devil's games. These are our games, and they are whatever we want them to be. You don't have to play the latest inverted slop that celebrates the false, the ugly, and the good, the beautiful, the true, the bad, the ugly, and the false. We don't need those games. We can be heroes. If we can't be heroes out in real life, we can be heroes here on the tabletop. And we can use our experiences here on the tabletop to inform our daily lives. We can withstand the forces of evil. And of course, it's always easier together. It is the end of the year. And so, as I was saying, the growth of the channel has slowed over the last 6 months. The algorithm doesn't really appreciate it when you're not pumping out 3 videos a week. It much prefers the 2, but whatever. We're not here for the numbers. After all, as a wise man once said, once we were only 12 scared people hiding in an attic. Well, it was 11 plus 1 gal. There's always the one gal there to keep things honest, isn't there? Kind of like a certain segment of the OSR. So with all of that out of the way, let's take a couple of minutes to take a look at. I don't know. I didn't even look at the numbers because we produced something like 75 videos. Did a lot of live streaming earlier, probably about 100. No live streams right now. I'm lucky to kind of squeeze in this short little 10 to 15 minute video to thank you guys and tell you what to expect in the incoming year, what I'm hoping for. These are my plans. We plan, God laughs. That's the way it goes. I had planned to do some Civil War, Spanish Civil War stuff. Unfortunately, the book that I'm waiting for has been delayed by over 1.5 years. So once that Osprey book, it's not this one over here. This from Osprey, the little blue book series, it's called A World of Flame. It's almost unplayable. I read it. It's kind of a skirmishy game that doesn't know what it wants to be. Almost like a rules light RPG. Just didn't really do anything for me. Also, it's scaled for 15 millimeter figures. There's a lot of good manufacturers. If you want to do Spanish Civil War, tons of figures in every possible scale. I, of course, am looking at doing 3 millimeter, and I want to build a red force and a blue force, but of course, I still have the bad eye. The last I heard from the doctor, my retina specialist said, "Oh, I don't think it can be fixed." I said, "Well, it's an iris issue." I'm Scottish, so when I say it's an Irish issue, I want to put the SH. It's an iris issue, so I'm not listening to the retina specialist. I'm continuing to pursue that, but I operate out of the American healthcare system, and particularly when you get hurt on the job, the insurance companies are, well, we don't need to go into that. Instead, let's talk about something. So there's really no crafting. You can see I don't even have my paints out. So we're doing a lot of paper and pencil wargaming. Over the past several months, we have enjoyed a little visit from, I'm pausing it. I don't know what that transition looks like. From Jim Webster, Hellfire Campaigns, using the Hellfire. Well, this is the one, Hellfire 300. And then, of course, we're using Hellfire and the Fall of Empire. For those of you that haven't seen it, this is my Jim Webster blue binder. It's got the rules in it, and it's got our little version of the Decapolis, which we started to call the Hippos Empire, but for those of you that are watching, things are getting really complicated. We're going to try to play that as close to a completion as we can in 2025. We'll keep that going. The pen and paper wargaming is really a lot more logistical focused. It's a lot of fun, and we're going to keep up with that. It's working so much better than the other kind of Henry Hyde wargaming campaigns that we were doing because it's a little more structured. So, in addition to that, I'm going to start a new campaign. Well, I'm actually going to resume an old campaign using this miniature war game right here. Some people may be astonished to hear me say this is a miniature war game, but I intend to show you that it can be. And in fact, if you embrace the chainmail roots of AD&D, you can have a wonderful time. Way back in the early part, well, the last part of 2022 and the early part of 2023, we did a live stream campaign, one-to-one time, just kind of showing people that how easy it is to use one-to-one time. We had a lot of TPKs, didn't go very well. I'm going to have another video on January 2nd where I introduce how we're going to pick things up 10 months later and try to reclaim the Wolflands for the Steiner family. 4 of them died in a TPK. We talked a little bit at the end of that series about the youngest brother, Roger the Hammer, showing up to reclaim the bodies of his fallen brothers. We're going to continue, but we're going to do things a little differently this time because I want to show you how you can use AD&D in a whole new way and maybe explore some little hidden aspects of the rules that you've always dreamed about. Stop dreaming, start doing. Stop theorizing, start playing. There'll be one theory kind of laying out my thesis for how this can work, and then there's going to be a whole lot of application. So look forward to that, more pen and paper, but AD&D in a way that you've probably never seen it before. Of course, we're also going to be doing a lot of Wiley games. These are great solo games. The card-driven mechanic is fantastic, and I also have a copy of Battlesuit Alpha. This is from Wiley Games, a quick and easy set of war games rules for mecha battles in the distant future. I've never done giant stompy robots. I tried to get into Battletech, but this is my classic rant. When you ask somebody that plays Battletech, hey, tell me about Battletech, they immediately launch into 10 minutes of what it's not. It's not Warhammer 40K. You know, here's a 10-minute explanation of 40K. It's not that. Yeah, that's great. There's an infinite number of things it's not. Can you tell me what it is? Well, yeah, see, it takes place over 3 different eras, and you can pick whichever one you want, but it doesn't matter because they're all the same. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of people that try to sell me on a thing by telling me that it doesn't matter. So hopefully we can get this on the table. Again, it's going to have to wait until I get some crafting skills, or maybe if I can get some of those clicky units on used, maybe I can get that on. I also have Arena of Blood. I feel a little bad. I've had this for months. I do have the figures for this, but I just haven't gotten around to printing up. It's a fun little game. You need these cards that have all the abilities, right? And it's Wiley, so you know it's going to be a lot of fun. All of his games are great. If you're into the steampunk, he's got a new steampunk title out you should go check out. It's wiley-games.com. And it's got like the 3 different kinds of games. It's got like a flying battleships game. It's got like skirmish games. I think it's called like Warfare in the Age of Steam or something like that. I don't know. Go to wileygames.com and check it out. Arena of Blood, not a lot of movement. It's mostly just 2 guys standing around whacking each other on the head with pointy things, which, you know, I mean, it's an arena. That's what it is. And it's cheap. It was only like, I don't know, $12-15. So I recommend you take a look at that. I'm going to get it on the table this year. Cross my heart, hope to die. Like I said, we're going to plan. What else do I got? And I still harbor dreams of taking a book like this. This is I'll put it up like that. What is it called? The Thaw of the Lich Lord. This is a series of, it's kind of a mini campaign for Frostgrave. But Frostgrave uses the exact same rule set as Rangers of Shadowdeep. I think that you can use this to play a Rangers of Shadowdeep campaign, which is great because, you know, the stuff that old Joe McCulloch is doing it really relies heavily on the adventure path that he prepares for you. Likewise with the Red King, I think there's a solid solo campaign in there, but you'll need to build another faction. The only difficulty I'm having is that when I sit down to read this, it's so heavily dialed into Frostgrave that that like a lot of the victory conditions simply don't apply. I need to find a way to make the card mechanic work, and that's kind of like my pie in the sky bucket list. Man, I'm sure hoping to get to that. I'd also like to get a little bit of Xenos Rampant back on the table. I have some ideas for ways to play around with some new forces. I wonder if you can't use this, and I've heard of guys doing something very similar in what's the Grimdark Firefight game? Oh, Grimdark Firefight. That's what it's called. Where they use a unit of 10, but they just have one figure on the table and say that one figure has 10 wounds. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a game, like a skirmish game on the table using Xenos Rampant. 5v5, but instead it's going to be, instead of units, it'll be like individual figures. So that's some of the plans. And then I also want to try dipping my toes back into Song of Blades and Heroes. Now, let me move over a little bit here so that I can give you the full piratey effect. Oh, I should have worn my eye patch. Oh, well, too late. So here is one of the things that I got for Christmas. It's out under the tree, and I don't want to disturb the people who are sleeping on the sofa, at least until I'm ready to play a whole different kind of game with that opponent. This game right here is called Song of Drums and Tomahawks. You can probably see it. I'm going to put the cover up right here. That, of course, is another black powder version of Song of Blades and Heroes. Recently, like as recently as a week or two ago, we tried a Song of Drums and Shakos, which is the Napoleonic, and I really struggled with it because I can't quite get past like an internal, like a mental block here that I've got. It's got a whole really good. Oh, sorry, over here. It's got a really good leadership mechanic that would work for small unit actions, but this game doesn't want to be small units. It wants to be skirmish. And I'm thinking that when we break this down for something like the French and Indian War, which I have about 15 Indians and a couple of guys in coonskin caps for like Rangers, and then a whole bunch of redcoats. So we're going to do redcoats and Indians, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. But because that's a much smaller scale conflict, because you don't have massive armies of 50,000, 75,000 marching back and forth across continents. You've got a handful of guys here attacking a farmhouse and hoping to carry away the residents for their slaves. And then you've got a handful of good guys trying to stop them, down there in the Ohio River Valley. And also, speaking as an American, this is one of those like 1700s, 1800s conflicts that really it speaks to me on an atavistic level. I have ancestors who fought in those wars. I have ancestors that were drinking buddies with Light Horse Harry Lee. So I'm really excited to kind of do something that's a little more relevant to the history of my nation. To that end, I even went so far as to buy this book, which is called Pequot's War, and we're going to learn all about it. It's 12 scenarios suitable for use with Song of Drums and Tomahawks, and we'll go through the full 12 campaign. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And one of the reasons I got asked for this for Santa, I asked for Santa for this under the tree, I should say. I mean, if Santa wants a copy, I know a guy that can get it for him. But I got this because Mike DeMana is the author, and Mike DeMana is one of those stalwarts over on Let Adventure Forum. I see his name all the time. He's really supportive. He seems like a really great guy. And so I like to throw a little bit of money at the people that are doing it right. And Mike DeMana is one of those guys. So I encourage you to go out, get a copy of this game. He has a modern day, well, near modern, I guess you could say. It's more like a small brush fire wars, like the Wars of Africa, 1980s, 90s. That's also available, but I couldn't get it on Amazon in time. You got to go to his website. Maybe I'll throw a link down here. I say that all the time, but I forget. You know how that works. And so there you go. That's going to be one of my goals, is to get through that whole campaign, Pequot's War, before the end of the year. And who knows, if I can get surgery, maybe we'll even get some painting back on the table. I think that's it. Hellfire, AD&D, Wolflands, couple of plans, and again, right, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But that's going to be a nice, quick, and short one. It is hopefully a short week for you guys. I don't want to take too much time away from your families. Thanks for coming along, and until next time, I'm praying for you.